Hello, I'm unbiased. I'm a Sierra Leonean currently resident in the United Kingdom and in the teaching profession.
Okay, just give us a background about yourself, your relation to Sierra Leone.
Well, I was born and bred in Sierra Leone. I went to the Cathedral Primary School, then to the Methodist Boys High School, where I completed my secondary education. And then I went to the Sierra Leone Grammar School because I was in the science field and where I did my A levels. From there, I spent the entirety of my life in Freetown, so I was not predisposed to going to the from a college because otherwise I would have done the provinces. So, and my parents were not very supportive of the idea, but I resisted, and I went to the Njala University College, and that was the best decision I've ever made in my life because I had a fantastic time knowing the provinces and at the same time getting a decent education as well. On completing my university education, I did a biological science degree, bachelor of science degree in education, because back in those days, if you qualify for a government scholarship, you can study in your discipline, but you have to do a postgraduate certificate in education so you can go and teach back in terms of paying back. So I did the BSc in biological sciences in education, and on completion of that, I taught for a year at the government secondary model school. My grades were decent enough for me to be able to secure a scholarship. So I was always of the inclination of going to medicine because my mom was in the medical field. My mom was a nursing sister for a very, very long time. And so the kind of enrichment she gave to a community in terms of serving a community. So that service part of that industry was something I wanted to fulfill. So in my mind, the only option for me was to go into medicine. I know it's very cliched at the time that, if you're not a lawyer, not a doctor, you're a failure. But I didn't go into that because of that. But like I said, my mom was very much a community midwife. As a matter of fact, if I'm very frank and sincere, I'm sure she'll forgive me to say she was a very lousy community midwife in the sense that when she finished her practice, she went to private practice. That's where she became very lousy. But she gave a credit note for prenatal treatment. She gave a credit note for delivery. She gave a credit note for postnatal treatment. For her, the satisfaction was not the monetary value, was serving the community.
So she was having a good record in her profession, right?
She had, but like I said, it was the joy of serving. It was not the financial benefit. That's why I said she was the excellent midwife, but a lousy businesswoman because she made absolutely no profit there. But the joy of it. As a result of that, quite uncannily, I've got about 6 or 7 sisters who are called Comfort after my mother because all they will say to her, hey, Mama Comfort, I go name the bikini after you. That will bring pleasures of face. And so all payments was nullified.
Okay.
But that is what it's all about for her. It's about service to the community.
Okay.
So yeah, I decided therefore to go into the medical profession. So I secured a scholarship to Bulgaria, where I was 3 years into medical university. And unfortunately, the bursary at that time was withdrawn for various kind of reasons. So everybody below the 5th year of medical studies, the scholarship was withdrawn. So if your parents could support you financially, you can finish it. My parents couldn't afford it, so I couldn't finish my medical studies, which was rather unfortunate. But that didn't deter me. So I went over to the United Kingdom, where I did a couple of postgraduate degree. I did a master's in biology, master's in physiology. I did another master's in business administration. I did another postgraduate certificate in education. I did a number of qualifications. Then I got into the teaching profession. So the rest, as I say, is history.
But with this kind of achievements academically, some people will say, why did you go to school?
Why
For the
did
medical, for the teaching profession. Why did you opt for the teaching profession?
Well, the teachers are the ones who teach the doctors, aren't they? The teachers are the ones who teach the lawyers. So if I become a teacher, I might be end up teaching.
Because with all these degrees, a dual master's degree and other postgraduate degree, people will think that, you should go for a bigger picture, right?
Well, what can be bigger than a teacher? If we take it on a religious basis,
comparing to Sierra Leone, people that are looking teachers.
hold on. Let's look at the teaching profession. Don't undervalue the teaching profession. One of the biggest and most well-known teachers in the world and out of history was the Prophet Muhammad. He was a teacher, wasn't he? And in another religion, Jesus Christ. He was a teacher that the two most written people about in history. And what were the profession? They were teachers. So the value of the teaching profession, I don't think should be on the value. It's very, very important because it's the teachers who train the teachers, the teachers who train the lawyers, the teachers who train doctors. So in terms of contribution to society, education is should be the bedrock of society. And therefore, if you're in the teaching profession, from my own humble point of view, you're creating a foundation in your society. So the medical profession and the teaching professions, I think, are the two most important professions that could build a society. Therefore, my view was that as I couldn't get into the medical profession in the route I wanted to, my next best option is the education sector. So, as a medical doctor, what I would have been doing, I would have been curing the sick. As an educator, what I am doing, is preparing others for the challenges of the world ahead. So either way, I think it's a valuable job teachers are doing. And so I don't underestimate the work of teachers. In terms of finances, in terms of monetary benefit, it might not be much, but that's what I said to you about my mom. It's always about money? It's not always about money. It's about what you contribute to society. I can stand today and look at the lives that I've touched. I did not touch them by healing them as a doctor, but I touched them by preparing them for the future.
Now, I want to give you 2 minutes to educate us about teaching generally in the UK. How does it look like teaching?
It is extremely demanding, very, very challenging. Because the standard of discipline expected of children in the United Kingdom is completely different from that in Sierra Leone. I was here in February and I visited my alma mater, secondary school, Methodist Boys High School. I can see they were still using the cane. They use the cane in the United Kingdom, you go to jail. So corporal punishment is not allowed. But it's the socio-economic challenges that comes with teaching that makes it difficult. Because in my area in London, where I'm head teacher, in Enfield, it's an area of high socio-economic deprivation. There are challenges there. There's still poverty in the first world countries. There is poverty there. So I have children coming to school for whom I am acting in local parentis. I am the parent to that child. So whatever kind of social need, medical need, as well as educational need, we as a school are supposed to be in a position to support those children. So it's very demanding. And when you meet some of the parents, you can see what the challenges there. Some of the parents have more time for the children because they're busy working the clock to put food on the table and cloth on the children and pay the bills. So in terms of being there, that kind of pastoral guidance and support, they're not there. So you as a teacher have to do all the challenges that child is coming to with school. And for some of those kids, you will be surprised they don't have 3 regular meals a day. The only important hot meal they have a day is what they get in school. So there is some poverty there. So the challenge is there. You need to get that child into the school, make that child believe that they're worth something, make them believe that biology, physics, and chemistry is important, get them to forget the challenges at home, concentrate and pass the GCSE and make something of themselves. So it's hard work, it's demanding, but it is very rewarding.
Okay. Now let's talk about Sierra Leone, your native country, right?
Right.
What's your impression about development in Sierra Leone? Because I know you are there, you are following news, you are following the trend of how development is going. What's your impression?
Well, I don't want to cast aspersions on what people are trying to do in Sierra Leone, but by recent experiences in Sierra Leone, I just compare to the fact that very recently I was in the Guinea in February, and yes, a couple of weeks ago I was in the Gambia. So within a space of 2 months, I was both in the Guinea and the Gambia and Sierra Leone. And I remember back in the 70s, when I was a young man at school, secondary school, those two countries in terms of development were much farther back. As a matter of fact, there were Gambians coming to Sierra Leone for their education. However, The experiences I had visiting, passing through those two countries today and recently, I was quite taken aback about the level of development which I've not seen in my native motherland, which saddens me. I'm not in a position to propose explanation for that. I'm not that politically inclined, but what I do know is that it saddens me that there is lack of development compared to those two neighboring countries. I'm not comparing it to European countries.
Yes,
I'm
you are saying the
comparing
facts.
to
Yeah.
two neighboring countries. I'm looking at the roadworks, the infrastructural development. I'm looking at the beaches in Banjul, where I stayed, nice, clean beach. I'm thinking it's the same kind of resources. As a matter of fact, we have more natural resources than the Banjul, the Gambia. As far as I know, all they've got is tourism and groundnuts. I think we're much more than that. So I can't account for why they moved on much further, but it doesn't change my view that this is my country. I love it, and I love it to develop a bit further.
Now, the present government place education as a priority, right?
Yeah, yeah.
As an educationist, what do you think should be done, to just foster this kind of development for these children?
Well, I think there should be, in my own very limited view, seeing that only come for about a couple of weeks a year, sometimes 4 weeks, I think there should be a whole overhaul of the whole system. In terms of the qualification of the teachers, in terms of the monitoring of the teaching profession, in terms of the inspectorate of the mainstream teaching profession, in terms of the quality of the curriculum, the provision. Is some of the curriculum fit for purpose? I am not sure. In terms of facilities, now my alma mater, we just finished an 18-room classroom, yeah, to go into one shift school. Because when I visited, there were about 70 students in a classroom. Well, what is even more despondent for me was that a year ago, I shipped a whole container of electronic equipment through fundraising, networking with all the schools in UK, interactive whiteboards, projectors, a whole container. My school paid for the shipment to my alma mater, Methodist Boys High School. To this day, I've not seen one of those projectors in action. As I'm speaking to you now, I've got half a container full of more resources, laptops, but I'm wary of sending them down here because what is the system of receiving it and implementing it? So I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. I think there should be a whole overhaul of the whole education system. Because let's say, for argument's sake, that they can install all those interactive whiteboards. Where is the electricity to run them? If they can install all those projectors, where is the light supply to use them? Yeah? At this point in time, we should be able to share teaching resources with a constrained teaching resources with the Methodist Boys High School. But where is the internet source regular for me to teach that? I could be in a position to do live teaching from the United Kingdom using my staff to Sierra Leone. But how can you do that? Where is the infrastructure? What is the government investment in that infrastructure? And that's why, as far as I can see, there's a rapid move in towards privatization because parents think their children will get a better education in the private sector, not in the government sector. But the government provides for the masses.
Yeah.
That means the masses are not getting good quality education. That's why I say it. I might be wrong. Like I said, I'm only here for a short period of time. But from a bird's eye point of view, a quick snapshot, I just think it's a grassroots change that has to take from roots to branch. Everything has to be overhauled, in my view, and in my own very humble opinion.
Well, except otherwise, I don't think you are going to be in the UK for life. I know one day we say, oh, let me go back to Sierra Leone, right? So what do you think you are going to impact, if at all, after retirement in the UK? What do you think for Sierra Leone?
Well, you see, the thing is, quite frankly, the only thing I know as a profession, I don't know much about carpentry. I can't lay bricks. Unfortunately, I can't run an electric cable. The only thing I know is education. And I know the educators on the ground here. Can I contribute? I believe I can. Will I be willing to? I'll be willing to contribute even today, even to come into a consultation. Even though I'm employed in the UK, I don't mind doing some consultation, passing some views and ideas about what education, in my view, should look like in the country. So I don't need to wait for retirement to be able to contribute. If there are opportunities for me now to consult and support the country, I'm very willing to do that.
So what's your dream finally for Sierra Leone? What do you want to see Sierra Leone?
What I want to see
your
Sierra
native
Leone.
country.
What I want to Sierra Leone. I want to see self-sufficiency. in the education system, in the food production system. I want to see an improvement in employability, reduction in socioeconomic deprivation. I want to see a better use of the infrastructure as it is right now.
Okay.
And I don't know how that can be achieved because, like I said, I'm not a politician. I'm only here for short periods of time. So I'm not standing there saying that I have the answers. But I just think that the country could be in a better place. There are loads of educated Sierra Leoneans out there and in the country as well. Surely they all want to see Sierra Leone better.
Yes, now as we move on, or as we finish, talk to the youths, because now we are now having this trend of push taking or drugs taking, which is impacting negatively to these youth. So talk to them. What's your message to them?
Well, my message to them is basically, as everyone will have said, the youths of today are the future of tomorrow. My message to them is to stay positive. My message to them is to be tolerant of the challenges around them. My message to them is to be resilient, to be strong in the face of adversity. My message to them is to have that integrity, that trying to do the right thing when nobody is looking. My message to them is to believe that they are worth something. Okay? If you believe in self-worth, that's the very first step. The longest journey starts with the first step. They need to start to believe that they can contribute something better to the society. They need to believe there's a place for them. But the society as well need to create that opportunity for them to think they have a chance to become somebody. When you start to believe in yourself, there can be seismic changes in your life. Drugs is not the answer. But for them, that's the only option left out to them. So some people in authority and power need to give these youths another option. They only see that as an option. Somebody up there with authority need to create another option for them to see that change can come. Change will come.
It's a pleasure talking to you, and thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.